On the 1st of April 2026, energy prices are changing. But for once, they're actually going down. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to receive an email from your energy provider with all of the details of your new tariff rates. But do you have any way to calculate what that actually means for your bill? Most of us have a bit of an aversion to spreadsheets. So I built a tool to help visualize exactly what it's going to do for your monthly bills. So why did I build this tool? Well, I don't believe that the change we're going to see on the 1st of April is a one-off. Prices aren't going to come down and then just stay where they are. With everything that's going on globally right now and the energy crisis in the Middle East, there is a real chance that these prices are going to move up and down all year long. So I wanted to build something that you could use that was really simple, didn't require any knowledge of Excel, and would allow you to get a visualization of exactly what would happen to your bill. Now, the problem is that when you get your bill, there's usually a whole load of information in there, and somewhere buried in that information will be something about this is what we think your average bill for the year is going to look like. And in reality, it rarely turns out to be even close. So I built this calculator, but it's more than a calculator. It's a decision tool. It lets you decide exactly what you're going to do once you've got the new information, once you know what your new bill is going to be like. I'm going to give you the ability to model what happens if you make small changes. Now, this is version 1 of my energy bill tool. It is designed for people who are on a 2-rate tariff. So tariffs like Intelligent Octopus Go, Eon Next Drive, or any tariff where you have a peak and an off-peak rate. So if there's anybody still on Economy 7, this would work just as well for you. Now, if you're on a tariff with 3 or more rates, something like Cosy Octopus, then that's coming in version 2. Now, in version 2, there'll be another tab that says 3 rate, and in the following versions, there may be other tabs as well. So by the time you actually come to use this tool, the new 3-rate version might be available. If not, come back real soon. It won't take too long to add that functionality. Let's take a look at how the tool works. So the first thing I want you to do is head over to my website, jonathantracey.com. Once you're there, if you head up to the top of the screen to the Tools menu and you click on the Tools menu, you'll see a little drop down. You can either click on Tools, which will take you to the main Tools menu. You can see there we have our previous tools that we built, the heating cost comparator, and the tool to decide whether you should get more batteries. And if you scroll down, you'll see there's this new tool here called How Much Will I Save? And you can actually go directly to it just by click on the new pricing tool. Okay, this is a really simple calculator, and it's simple enough that anyone with a spreadsheet could easily recreate this. But not everybody likes spreadsheets. Not everybody wants to spend time building spreadsheets, so I did the work for you. So the first thing you're going to need is an energy bill from last year. So what I'll do here is I will pull up my energy bill from 2025 from May. Now, obviously there's some redacted information on there just for my to take off my address and things like that. But what you're going to need from your bill, and if this is an Octopus bill, if you're from Eon or one of the other providers, it may look a little bit different. But down on the left-hand side there, you can see my rates. Now in the Octopus bills, those rates are pre-VAT, so you can see there is a line a bit further down where they add the VAT. It really doesn't matter. You can do it pre-VAT or post-VAT. It doesn't matter. We don't really take into account VAT in the calculation. But you can see the rates. So I was paying last May 6.67 pence per kilowatt hour off peak and 27.58 pence per kilowatt hour on peak. So you're going to need both of those pieces of information. You're also going to need to know what was your standing charge. Now you can see there we had a standing charge for 31 days, because there's 31 days in May, at 45.34 pence per kilowatt hour. And then you're going to want your consumption numbers for both peak and off peak. So in my case, my off peak was 976.1 kilowatt hours and my on peak was 10.9 kilowatt hours. Yes, I have a lot of batteries. That means the vast majority of my usage is off peak. But we're actually going to use that to model. Anyway, so find all those pieces of information on your bill, write them all down, and then head back to the tool. So if we jump back into the tool here and scroll down, what I want you to do is to enter your old rates here. So we've got our peak rate, which in my case was 27.58 pence per kilowatt hour. Our off-peak rate, which was 6.67, and our standing charge, which was 45.34. And then over on the right-hand side, you will have received an email from your energy provider, hopefully by now. If you haven't, if you go to their website, you can actually see what the prices will be on the 1st of April. So in this case, let's say Octopus told me that my rate was going to be reducing to 26.9 pence on peak. And there are some people receiving a 3.5 pence rate, but let's say I'm going to get 5 pence per kilowatt hour off peak. And because standing charges, they always go up, our standing charge is going to go up to 50.2 pence per day. So once you've put all that information in the rates, I want you to scroll down and I'm going to ask you to put in your peak and your off-peak rates. So in my case, peak was 10.9, off-peak was 976.1. And then you need to select the month of your bill. So in this case, it was May. Now that just helps me calculate your standing charge because obviously different months have different number of days in them. So in this case, May. Okay, so if I scroll down, we can see that our previous bill would have been around about £82.17. We obviously need to add VAT onto that. With the new rates, our bill comes in at £67.30. That is a saving of £14.87 for the month of May. Now, obviously, I'm making an assumption here that you're going to use roughly the same amount of energy this May as you did last May. Now, obviously, if you installed batteries since then, you've got an EV, things have materially changed, you can always scroll back up here to usage and you can play around with these numbers to whatever you think is right or what's most likely for your usage. But then we've got this number here, what if? And it's pretty close to the new number. Well, if I scroll down a little bit more, we get to start to play. And this is where you can see what would happen if you change your behavior. So it doesn't really work for me because you can see here, this slider goes from 0 to 100%. I'm already 99% off peak. So there's only £2.16 of savings that I could possibly make here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to take this roughly, let's call it 1,000 kilowatt hours for the month. I'm going to say I use 500 on peak and 500 off peak. So you can see there, my bill would be about £185. My new bill would be £175. So obviously my peak usage has shot up from 10 to 500 and my off peak has dropped down dramatically. So if we now go to the usage shift, what we can see is we're approximately 50%. In fact, we are at exactly 50% on peak, 50% off peak. So what would happen if we were to install some more batteries? What if we could shift some of our usage to the off-peak rate? What would that actually save us? So let's do 10%. So we're currently at 50%. We're just going to drag the slider up to 60%. You can see there the what if graph is starting to drop. Obviously the new and the old, they're going to stay the same. But if I scroll back up now, you'll start to see the savings show here. Now you can actually get it as well just by putting your mouse over the bar. So we're at 153. What if we could shift, let's say, a total of 30%? So let's take that up to 80%. 109. So we would effectively knock about £75 off of our bill if we could shift 30% of our usage from peak to off peak. And that's really what this tool's designed to do. Yes, it gives you the calculation of what your bill is going to be based on new rates versus old rates. It also works the other way. So if the prices were to go up, let's say the peak price was to go up to 30p a kilowatt hour and the off-peak rate would go up to 10 and the standing charge would go up to 60p. So we could see there now, our old bill was 185, our new bill is 218. So it's going to cost us £33.29 more in May compared to the previous year. And again, you can still do the load shifting there. So that's the tool. On the surface, it's a really simple calculator. As I say, Anyone with any spreadsheet skills could easily recreate this just with a cup of coffee in 30 minutes. But really what it becomes is a decision tool. The slider that shows the split between your current and off-peak rates can be used to help make a decision as to what you want to do with your energy bills going forward. Now, it's great that energy bills are coming down in April, but if the conflict in the Middle East continues, the likelihood is they will go up again in June or at the end of June, and we'll have a summer with more expensive rates. So that's why I built this tool. I wanted to give you something that you could model what could happen. You can put any numbers you like in there. It will just react to them. So if you want to model a real worst case scenario, if we go back to the kind of energy bills that we had back in 2022 when the energy crisis following the invasion of Ukraine happened, you can model that exactly. But what this tool really does is lets you see the impact on your bill. It lets you see, if I add a battery, what would that do? And again, it is super simplistic. If there are features you think would be added to this tool which would make it more useful, then please do let me know in the comments below. Now, just a couple of things to say about the tool before I wrap up. I'm a great believer in privacy and trust. This tool does not gather any data whatsoever. If you put numbers into this tool, they are stored locally in your browser. I don't record them, I don't save them, I don't take any information about who's using the tool or anything like that. It is there for you to use, and I'm not collecting anything on the back end of that. And if anybody wants to check out the code for it, it is just a single HTML file. You can go and view the source, and you can see exactly what is going on in the background. But right at this moment in time, I think we do have pause to celebrate. Energy prices are coming down, but I think it's really important that we understand how these are going to affect your bills. And when prices change again, and they probably will, come back, update the numbers, and make a new decision. Same usage, different outcome. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, there are plans to add some more functionality to this to make it a little bit more useful. So I will be adding a couple of tabs to the interface. One will be for people who are on a three rate tariff like Cosy Octopus, and then there'll be one for an annual bill. Now I'm just working out the changes I need to make in the user interface, because obviously with a three-way bill, a slider that goes left and right doesn't work. So we just need to do some changes in the user experience to cope with three different rates. But other than that, I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know what you think could be added to it, how I can make this more useful. If you think that it's too simplistic, but it needs to be able to do this, then hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Obviously, the link will be in the description below, or just head to jonathantracey.com, click on tools, you'll be able to find it there. But remember, you are going to need a bill from 2025. Pick any month you like. I just happened to pick May. But yeah, pick a bill that's representative of what you think is kind of your average usage. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for today's video. I hope you found this useful. I'd love to know what you think of the tool. And if I'm lucky, I will see you back here real soon for another video. Take care. Bye-bye.